And then I already acquired a lot in life. Now, I ain't no New York Times bestseller, but I'm a New York Times bestseller outside though. So I mean, that's why I tell people too. I mean, accolades, man. Everybody accolades is different. Everybody is something different. If I was a journalist, I would probably have a New York Times bestseller because that's what I would want to do. But as far as what I have done, I did very good at it. You know, Pulitzer quality work. You know, but that's what makes me qualified to talk. Then on top of that, like I said, I actually, you know, relationship wise, no, I'm not qualified to talk. But as far as mind the people motherfucking business, I am overly qualified in it because it's not everybody else's place to do. But in this day and age, everybody lines up to talk about the people business. And it's like, man, fuck that, man. I said we ain't holding no punches in this joint. Half of these motherfuckers be coke snorting ass motherfuckers. As soon as them niggas hit cut on them cameras and they on that desk vacuum. Nah, I'll clean the table. Don't worry about it. Like, come on, man. What's real is real. See what I'm saying? Got boys waiting in the back for him, shit like that. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm telling you, man. See, the difference why I tell people like me stay down is because, for one, it's one thing. I remember I told somebody, oh, 15 years ago, I was in like this little shared group. I guess you would say kind of like a think tank. And I told them, they was like, man, what would you do if your YouTube channel ever made a bunch of money? I said, honestly, I would give it back to my, I would reciprocate back to my subscribers. And they like, why would you do that? I said, well, shit, I can't get views without subscribers. I can't gain without subscribers. So, like I told him, I would probably just, balance out, 10, 20% of the income I would give right back into the subscribers. Figure out something that I can actually do. And this is before Mr. Beast. This is back when YouTube really started getting relevant. They was brainstorming to go between where they wanted to go with it. So they had a big think tank, and I ended up in it by way of somebody that recommended me. But it just make you realize stuff back then, like when you sitting there and you working with them. And I mean, people look at me. I mean, I'm from Philly, been arrested, did shit. I mean, I've been around, I haven't passed, but I have worked directly with YouTube. I have worked directly with Google. So when I see the cats now with the opportunities, I'll be like, damn, it make you feel a little warm inside. Like, damn, bro, you did that shit a long time ago. You had, work hand in hand with them. Like I actually, like, yeah, on screen, Zoom, headboard on the YouTube website. Like, yeah, we talked to them cats and everything. See what I'm saying? They took our input. Some people stuff got inputted, some people didn't. I can't say much about it because everybody that was on the conference calls had NDAs, so we can't. I mean, NDAs, so we can't disclose anything we talked about. As you see, I didn't go into it, so. But I mean, I can't even hint because it's like it burns me up. But some of the times, the best way I can say it is what I get from that conference, still to this day, makes that NDA, priceless. So I'm gonna keep my guns from bumping. But it's just cool to be able to see them publicly. Cause see, when I started doing what I was doing on the internet, they liked me because I was edgy. I cuss, smoke weed, I talk shit, I threaten people. Like I was like to them, like they told me like I was you know, bad guy that they got to deal with and people like to do business with me. And for the longest, I was always trying to figure out how to incorporate that into this. And every time it kept getting me. I can't argue with somebody on the screen. I will never see you. And if I did see you, you probably can walk right up to me and I wouldn't even know who you are. So that's the one part that shied me away from it. And then two, um, I was ended up in a lot of stuff based upon that ethnicity curve. They need two or three of each ethnicity to balance out their programs to keep the investors happy, all ethnicity investors. We'll get into that some other time on another channel, but that's the way that the games played back then. They used people like us behind the scenes for our brilliance, but we just couldn't get accredited publicly or nationally based upon who we were. And this the funny thing I tell people all the time. When you deal with these people, this is how I know how powerful, you know, YouTube and all them was back then. So when they give you your little one-on-ones, stuff like that, then they start bringing up arrest records and charges and stuff. I'm like, hold up, bro, this is just a beta program. No, this is an opportunity. We just listed as a beta program. But if you play your cards right, this opportunity can be something good. But we ain't worried about the record. We just want you to know that we know who you are. So how I fucked they head up, I said, okay. So y'all like to start the game out unfair because I don't know who y'all are. And he was like, you know who we are. I'm like, nah, I know who y'all are now. Y'all executives, stuff like that. I said, but who was y'all before? Because y'all seem to like to figure out who everybody else was before. Can we figure out who you are? Can you tell us? And they was like, wow, we never asked that question. I said, nah, man, because I don't like that. It's like, you know everything about me. I know nothing about you. I find that unfair. And it makes me hard to do business with anybody who I don't know about, but they know all my business. So he was like, wow, you will lead the program for that? I said, yeah, I stand strong on my beliefs. And he was like, that's the reason why I want you in the program. And he told me everything about him and the people that we was working with in the program, personal stuff and everything. So I mean, I tell people I always had an edge at the way that I was and the way that I thought. That's why when people I used to be one of them people who figure validation was everything. And when I started realizing it's only two people that need to validate what you do. You and the person who signed the check. As long as you're all on the same page, oh, everybody else gonna fall in suit. They don't have a choice. People waste their time playing to the wrong fire. And you need to get on sync with the motherfuckers who writing them checks and that's your people. That's one thing that they told us, you know. I mean, of course, YouTube got massively larger, so those people that we was dealing with probably got pushed all the way up to the top floor. You know, by now, some of them is probably running because they had a lot of innovative ideas back then that YouTube did not have. That's why a lot of times when I look over YouTube now and I see a lot of features, I'm like, oh, I remember that. So for y'all people not to know that some of this stuff take a long time to put into play. And you might think it's a couple keystrokes. Nah, it take a while, gotta be tested because you can create a feature that can work for 100 people. But it might not work correctly for 1 million people or 10 million people or a billion people. So that's where the testing comes in that they have to keep testing and testing and testing to make sure it's not going to crash and it stays stable throughout the whole time of usage. And that's what be taking a long time with features and stuff like that. But back at those times, like I said, this is what I wanted to do. I always said I should have podcasted along the way because the story was definitely crazy. But see, a lot of times people gotta realize every part of your life you can't share. Everything is not camera worthy and everything is not talk worthy. You know, as you see, most people, criminal records tells a story for them. So that's why I be the way that it is. But people think about how they say, shake shit up. Oh yeah, that's what I'm here to do, man. And the thing about me personally, like I said, I'm always been a person that kept my hands in a lot of stuff. And I'm not going to stop being that person. I mean, as far as these podcasts and YouTube channels and stuff like that, like these just, it's like minor. And as you see, as the stuff progress, I'll start investing more into it because the honest part that people don't understand about this whole industry, some of these people, this is why a lot of famous people do it because they have the juice and they have the money. They can buy equipment, they can get a studio, they can do this, they can do that, trademark and paperwork, lawyers. They got the money for that right now. They don't have to make it. And the part that people forget is YouTube ain't giving you a dime until after you hit a certain criteria for them. Certain amount of subscribers, certain amount of hours watched, certain amount of views on shorts. Like they make it harder and harder for you to make money. But the whole entire time they run advertisements in your videos. But you can't get paid until you hit over their criteria. So my thing is, like I tell people, you gotta keep that in mind that you have to be able to support these channels until you get a break. It's just like hip hop. You go to the rapping, you go to the studio every day, 4 or 5 years, and then you just make one song, and that one song just blah. I mean, I'm not saying it's like that, but it's the work ethic you put in. You look at some of the top podcasts, there are hundreds of shows in. Now you can go and try to cram a bunch of content just to catch up with them, but that's not organic. Um, like I said, for me, I have tons and tons of footage put together. It's just that I release it, at times and stuff like that, and then they have relevant topics come up that I gotta hurry up and shoot and do it, a little enjoying about just to get something out there in the water, get some clean talk in the water, as I call it. But it's definitely it's a good game. I mean, for me, it's kind of like I said, I know the ins and outs, so it's to me, it's not really as complicated as it probably would be to most. Um, I'm not saying that I do anything special that anybody can't do, but the reason why I say me becoming a podcaster was kind of like evident. One, got the prettiest face, pretty Nikki Fontaine is what they call him. Then on top of that, like I said, I have a lot of things that tie into audio and video. Um, I own, I'm not gonna say the biggest, but I own a pretty popular tube site years ago. They're pretty well millions and millions of views per month. So the whole video space was already a space that I was in. Audio, like I said, I recorded music years ago, had a studio at home. So I mean that was kind of cool. But as far as on business fronts, my original businesses was the internet, so it was kind of cool for me to have like 5 or 6 years knowledge in internet marketing. I was in it when I got online, the word keywords were just getting popular. You could put a video up there, it didn't matter if you had keywords or not. That's how they didn't know what they were. But they had to create something to try to even and learn the curve. or even the popularity curve because everybody was taking off. So when keywords first came around, I used to be sitting there like, what the fuck is a keyword? And I'm like, then I started thinking like highlights. Like when you read a story, well, I don't know about everybody else. When I used to read stories in school, I used to have a way of like taking a paragraph and certain words highlight themselves in my mind. And then that's when I write down and I go, reading comprehension, read the story, answer the little couple segments of questions. Every key was in the question and answer. And that's how I used to get it right every time. I don't know how it's like all the rest of the words in the story disappears in my mind and just the key words highlight. And that's how I started getting good at picking keywords, getting, organic traffic, free organic traffic. Plus back in 08, 09, people they had a lot of stuff going on to assist. A lot of stuff was able to go undetected back then. And like I tell people, being those that I didn't learn how to do it the back alley way, I learned the correct way. So when I came back online years later, it was like, okay, damn, I only know the right way. They got all them little tricks of the trade sewed up. You can't do none of that shit. They got, they to cut that off. They got a blocker for this, and they do this, they do that. So you couldn't do it. And then plus, I'm gonna tell you another secret. A lot of the back alley places that we was using to make money back in those days, Google bought them. Just saying, you do the homework. Google bought probably about 60, 70% of it. And if you do the rest of the homework, I mean, they might be bought out by other search engines, but that was the motto back in the day. That's what they used to tell us. They either they gonna buy you or kill you. Not literally, but as you see, literally, because you visit the sites and it says address unknown. So most likely what they do is they'll purchase you. And if it's a popular feature that they can incorporate into their stuff, they'll, do it that way. But if they can't, they'll buy it and just shut the domain down. And I remember a long time ago, people didn't notice that it was like thousands and hundreds of thousands of domain names that pointed to Google. And that's how I started to figure out how big Google was going to be and what did they own. Because at this time, Google was just acquired for, that little change they gave the two guys who originally started it. And I'm looking like, why they got all these domain names pointing? And then when they start buying websites from people and stuff like that, I said, this is why they doing this. And that's when I started noticing when they was going after their competitors and they started approaching the guys on the forums that was doing a lot of the stuff they couldn't detect to get them to come work for them to help them stop it. Like it was crazy back then, man. Like Google was moving weird. I mean, Apple was doing stuff too, because a lot of the hackers that was breaking the phones back then used to be on the forums talking to us about how Apple offered them $600,000 to come work for them to show them how to counteract their software. And they like, hold up, I'm making X, Y, and Z. I'm making that in just charitable donations for continuing to make the software. I'm actually making more than that in charitable donations just from making the software. So that was a hard battle, but I think they ended up buying him out. His name was Sadaya. I think they ended up buying him out. I don't know. I haven't heard. I mean, as you see, you can't jailbreak iPhones no more, so they probably got a number that broke them in. But that was the way that it worked back then, man. They weren't going against them guys. They weren't getting them locked up. They wasn't using their money to fight them because they knew that a hacker, even though they didn't have a shit ton of money, the knowledge of what they could do was damaging. They can really fuck you up with no money. So it was like you can't beat them, join. And some hackers bowed out and took the money to the big companies and went to work for them, but a lot of them stood tall and did. But that's the way that it used to work back then. And I mean, going through all them shark infested waters, because like I said, I was on the good side and I was on the bad side. So I got to see both, and I got to compare together and I got to actually see how the good side is technically the bad side. It's just masked and a bunch of bullshit and rules. So you don't know that it is. So yeah, man, it's deep, man. But that's my background. Like I said, I got a background in web design, SEO. I'm gonna say medium marketing because I got good at it, but I tell people there's no marketing, free marketing. TikTok, social media, yeah, it's free marketing once you have followers. Where is the part to tell you where is these followers coming to this new page? Like here, where the I can make great content, but where I had to get subscribers here, right? That costs money. That's work. It's time. So when people say it's easy, it's not easy. It's hard as hell. Even when you know what you're doing, it's hard. I mean, I have a ton of YouTube channels, tons of them. So it's like I know what I'm talking about. My first YouTube channel is actually very, very old YouTube channel. Kind of like one of the channels you can do what you want, upload copyright content and all that shit. They'll let me get views and then chop it. That's because, like I said, it's an older page. I contributed both ways. And I remember back in like 2006, 2007, I looked up there. That's when they introduced the little part to tell you how many videos you viewed as a viewer. And I had already viewed 20, 30,000 videos on YouTube back at that time. So I was stayed on there 24/7 because I used to like to watch the videos of people getting knocked out. And then that's when I got into the tutorial videos, how to um how to's came in and music. And if people really remember, the first stop for your music back then wasn't even YouTube, but it had music on it that you can listen to. Um, like I said, for me, it was mainly fight videos. Like I said, that's how I know about Kimbo Slice. I like to watch the underground stuff. I mean, MMA wasn't even invented. Well, I ain't gonna say it wasn't invented. It wasn't mainstream yet, but I mean, I always liked that street fight scene. I liked the movies back in the day based upon it. So when those videos came out, I was watching them all over. Like that was my thing. Big guy knocks out little guy knocks out big guy. Brawls. I used to just type in random stuff and so many videos would come up from around the country. It was like, damn, I used to sit there for hours. And then, like I said, I always liked the funny videos. So I used to watch the little funny ones that come up. But I mainly stayed, I got to a space where I got real heavy into documentaries. So as that YouTube grew, a lot of people's stories went on there. And then that's how you learn. I learned so much about people like Warren Buffett. That's how I learned about the true Donald Trump. Like people like YouTube back then didn't have a filter on the learning curve or the information curve. Now that algorithm is so tight to where it's not going to show you but so much. That's why I say one day I wish they can offer a paid version with the old algorithm where you can see YouTube how it naturally used to be. When people used to love it and not go into it now because they're used to going to it. See, that's what Google don't understand. We go to YouTube because we used to, not because we love it. We used to love it. And I think they need to do some things to bring it back to when we used to love it. And I guarantee you'll see a lot of the loyal following come back, and you'll see people interact more on it. You got people videos getting watched for 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Damn, you telling me all the way around the country and you only care about 30 seconds? You ain't never make it to the end of one. Like I said, they put all that up there now. So you can see everything dealing with people's videos. It's analytics. I mean, I guess it's everywhere. I got toolbars on all my browsers that show me stuff, keywords, popular shit, stuff like that. It's a bunch of bullshit. But it makes sense to me. If you see it, you go, like, I don't know what the fuck that shit is. Most people exit out. Nah, it makes sense to me because they let me know. That's how I follow trends. That's how I make approaches and stuff like that. It's all be based on, like I said, everything is all playing. You're dealing with the internet. And I mean, you can kind of wing it for the most part, being the ones that you can always, get better at time. Um, First 10 videos that you feeling yourself out, getting your voice together, keeping your mind focused on the topic, like it's parts to it. And thankfully, I studied this space for a long time. And when I say studying, nah, I ain't just, oh, what kind of microphone you use? What kind of headphones you use? Nah, I studied, I watched a bunch of different podcasts. And a lot of people forget some podcasts are owned by celebrities and stuff like that. And then there's some of them have lawyers there. I've seen a couple different pairs, but a lot of them are also journalists. So that's how you see how the questions and the information be so tight. Um, the rest of them is pretty much just using their star status to attract people, visitors, and following. And they're just sitting there asking them the most crucial questions of their life, which will make anybody have a 30-minute to 40-minute response. Then on top of that, it's just, that's how it is. If you ask me the most touching topic in my life, it's not going to be a 2-second answer or a yes, no, maybe. It's going to be an explanation. Then if it's something where it's a public media thing, you got to explain what the media did to you, how they made you feel, and now what really happened. That's a show mixed in with a few other questions. But the basis of the show is that one crucial question. That's the beautiful thing about having guests. But people don't have money for that stuff. So what can you do? Now the way that the way the world is now, you have a little bit more capability, a little bit more reach. You got, remote software, people, you might get someone famous to do a feature or a show for you based because they can just go in their living room and sit there and talk to you. You might get lucky. I know a lot of them want to get paid. Some people do, some people don't. It's not a supporting world. So you gotta try to find them people who look and say, okay, this brother just starting out. I see where he's going. I see his concept. I see his vision. I'm gonna throw him a bone. Yeah, I got you. Don't get me wrong. I have people who have done that, and that's at a very, very low level. 300 some subscriber page, and yeah, brother, I see what you're doing, bro. Yeah, all right, let's go. Give me, 2 weeks weed money for me. Now, they ain't what they say, but I'm just saying, it's just give me a couple bucks. I ain't gotta, cause you ain't gotta leave home. You ain't gotta do nothing. Just turn on the laptop. I'll send you the link. You chop it up, hit record, and that's it. You don't walk away. I mean, and that's how simple it is. I mean, like I say, most people, like I said, they come in with investors. They come in with secret backers, so now they can pay 10, 15,000, 20,000 to get a good guess. But that show has to monetize back for that money. And that's where I like the approach that I like, which is to gain popularity and then let people come to me. Because one of my podcasts is set up, it came out as a conglomerate. Right now, it's only at stage one, which is a basic podcast. I haven't even put it on streaming platforms yet. I'll tell you why I didn't in a second. I haven't put it on streaming platforms yet because the fact that I want to get a nice amount of content. So when I'm uploading, I'm not uploading 10 shows. I got 20, 30 shows to put up there. And 20, 30 shows around every streaming platform, that's a pretty good deal. Also, too, when I say that it's a conglomerate, it's because it's a lot more to it. It's a podcast, but it's already to be a household name. Can't really say too much. I don't want nobody to take my ideas, but it's already primed up. I got every step in my head and I can see how it could work. And if it do work, it's gonna be beautiful. I even have another podcast. It's a YouTube channel now. It's out. I mean, I haven't really done much with it as of now yet because I've been trying to do the homework behind these goddamn copyrights and shit like that. So that's what held that one back. But that one actually can be something that can come off of YouTube and go on TV. Or it could be on YouTube TV. I don't know. Because the price is right. But it's like the ideas that I have with this whole podcasting space, I'm coming in with next gen. Cats now is just talking about podcast 2.0. Bro, I can't, I've been podcast 2.0. That's the reason why I waited to actually get into it because I knew I wanted everything to be right. And then, like I said, I wanted to have all the knowledge that I could so that I could accelerate and move faster. Um, then on top of that, it gave me the ability to be able to do things like this one. Um, same setup, same equipment, eventually I'll make a background, take the blur off. I mean, it's not hard to do. Um, it's not expensive. It's just really time consuming. And it's just I say a little bit of knowledge, but don't take it from me because I've been doing this so long. So to me, it looks like a little. I know most people be like, hell no, man, how the fuck you sit there and look at that shit? Yeah, it makes sense though. But that's me. So I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of the new show. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Um, man. I'm glad I started this one, man. We gonna have some fun here, y'all. I guarantee, man. Stuff I got in the store, boy, because it's like everything that I held back from doing on my other one was trying to keep everything. We ain't got to do that. So yeah, we gonna get busy on this one, baby. See y'all guys on the next one, man.